There we go. How's it going, everyone? Yes, sir. Hello. How's it going? Hope you're good. All right. Let me switch over here. Yeah, let's keep building the widget. For this episode, I thought that we address the styling issues. We don't have styling issues now, but we will have styling issues down the road. So what I was thinking, maybe it's going to be cool if we address them now, so we don't need to worry about it, down the road. The issue that I anticipate that we're going to have, particularly for this, is the style mix-up, right? So for example, we're shipping this as a package, as a could you give the tour? Yes, sir. Ask, can you give the tour of what has done in the past streams? Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. So in the past stream, um, check this out. So I was working on building this errors playground, and we took it to a level that was good enough for us to start documenting errors. And in the meantime, I got this other idea because I was thinking about errors, right? I got this other idea that what if we build a widget that's going to capture errors that break the page but don't produce a console error, right? For example, responsiveness issues can be one of those things. I'm not sure what else. Different browsers. Whatever it is, whatever that's breaking the page or the functionality, preventing the user from just doing the functionality, but the errors that don't produce a console error. So for example, packages like Sentry will catch errors in the console, right? But what if the layout breaks? The user will still need somehow, to report the error. So for example, in the case of Sentry, we have session replay, and we have errors. So I was thinking maybe we can combine those two into a widget that will allow the user to press start recording, record whatever it is, on their screen that, they're having trouble with. Maybe, as I mentioned, like one of the previous issues that I mentioned. And yeah, and send that to Sentry, because I feel like there's a room that we can, build something that addresses that issue. So that's what we're building. In the past stream, we created a new package in the monorepo, a new project that exported the widget. And we started to build a Sentry integration, right? That's how we decided to build the widget, as a Sentry integration. Because yeah, you would have to have Sentry installed, right? And that's the thing. Yeah, we managed, let me show you. We managed to show a little red box that lives. Yes, sir. Question: is this widget only a React component or something that can be plugged in Vue, Svelte, everywhere? So the way that we're building, and that's like a constraint that I imposed on myself. Don't use frameworks. Just use plain JavaScript and HTML and CSS, so it can be plugged literally in any framework. Right now, we're using Astro without any frameworks, so it's just JavaScript. So that's my point. I want to make a widget that can be plugged in a website, not in a framework. Because this is because Sentry has pretty much SDKs for all of the frameworks out there and supports all of the frameworks. So then this widget should also support all of the frameworks. And the way we can do that is only by going framework agnostic. So we're going to be using the API layer of Sentry that is not necessarily tied to any of the frameworks. I think we can get away without touching any of the framework SDKs. And the UI, for example, this red box, that's just document.create element. You know, it's no frameworks. So I'm just creating an HTML element using JavaScript, finding the you know, the document.body, and then just appending that element to the body. So that's how the integration works. And there we go. We can see it, right? And if I clear out the console and if I press on the actual box, we can see show modal comes up here, which means now it's the time where we need to display, you know, or like append another child to the body, which is going to be the recording model, right? That's pretty much what we're going to be building. And as you can see, it lives here. If I go to this page, there we go, there it is again. If I go to here, there it is again. I can, you know, basically I can use this website anyhow I want to use it, but it's still here and it still works just as we want it to work, you know. So that's the widget. The idea right now is when I click on it, I want it to, you know, I want to display a modal that says start recording. Maybe we have some inputs, we'll define those later, but it should give me the opportunity to press a button to invoke the recording capabilities of the session replay API, grab, you know, the recording. Maybe we'll also change the little widgets. Like, I don't know, I'm inspired by the Loom website. As you know, they have a widget that lets you record your screen and add your camera, just like I have right here in the circle, and you can move around that camera as well. And when you start recording, there's like a little stop button, a little red stop button that when you press on that, the recording stops and you can upload the video. I like that flow, you know, it's predictable. So I'm thinking that we build something like that. Okay, so that's what we have right now. There's our error. Of course, it's intentional because that's the actual error that we're on. But yeah, as you can see, we're doing the replay widget setup config console log here. If I go here, replay widget setup. If I go here, replay widget setup, and I think that's an error, right? We should not be setting up the project whenever we navigate to the pages, but that's just Astro, you know. That's how Astro works, because I don't know if we can get around with that. Maybe we can. Because if this was a single page app, this is not a single page app. This is just a static page. Let me show you. For example, we have the network tab here. I'm going to clear it out. So let's navigate to the React page. And as you can see, we're fetching the whole document. See that we're fetching literally the whole document. And then we get the results back. Let's go over to this page. Again, we're fetching the whole document. The response contains everything. So it's like a full post pack. What was the? Yeah, it's not a, it's a browser navigation, you know. It's not like a client side navigation where I'm just, you know, we're just removing a piece of the website, replacing it with a different content or with a different component. This is like a full page reload. So that means all the JavaScript goes away and, you know, the new JavaScript comes in. And that's how Astro works. And we have, you know, we have an Astro page, so I'll figure that out. But for now, what I wanted to do is when, you know, just like show a modal, maybe when we click on the actual widget, just show a modal and try to, you know, put, you know, start putting some styles in it and then prevent other styles from seeping in and affecting the way that our widget looks like. That's, I think, you know, I think we should do that. So what do we have here is a roll-up configuration that lets us use CSS. Okay. And here's the widget.css file. As you can see, we already started putting some styles together. Here's the widget itself. here's a wrapper. So the wrapper is actually the portal. Yeah, that's basically the portal. And the how do we do this? Let me try to do open xCali draw. And this is something else that I've been working on, but I'm gonna do it here. So check this out. We have the whole web page, right? And that's the website that, you know, this widget is going to be installed on. I'm gonna make this large. Then we have our, as I like to call it, portal. And within this portal, we are basically going to append, and I'm gonna do this like this, basically. We're gonna append our widget. But then also, we're also going to append the dialog as well, because the dialog is where the functionality happens, right? The dialog slash modal, whatever you want to call it. Let's just, you know, let's just keep it as a dialog, because we're going to be using a dialog element. Okay, so styles, for example, this dialog can have like a title, right? And if I define the title of the dialog in a way, you know, like H1, make it, you know, make the font size be like, I don't know, 24 pixels, for example, then that style definition, and I can do it like this, H1, for example, that style definition is going to change the way that all of the H1s look like in the main website. But the main website is not our website. That's every website that's going to implement our widgets. So it's not going to be cool if I install a widget and it messes up the style of my website, right? I'll just remove it. I'm not gonna use it, right? But our point is to make it usable. What else, you know, we should do is, for example, we have a widget, right? What if that widget has a, I don't know, a definition? The widget itself is going to be a button, right? So here's our button widget. The button has specific styles. If the website itself has styles for, you know, defined for the buttons, and usually they do, all of them, then it's going to affect the way that our widget button looks like. But we want to have consistent styling because, you know, yeah, we need consistent styling. You know, that's the widget itself, the button itself is going to have a, I don't know, a distinct style, and you know, well, that's how you know what it does, right? It's, if it's something different every time, you wouldn't know what it does. So that's why we want to have, you know, a distinct style for the button itself, so it doesn't break. So what we need to do and find a way is to remove the possibility of, you know, this style that's happening from outside of the widget to the widget, but then also from this way as well, from our widget to seep into the style of the website that's it's being installed on. So that's what I think we should do this episode, because I think it's going to first we need to show the dialogue, or maybe we don't even need to show the dialogue. The point is, you know, that this line break, actually I should draw it like this, should exist here on this line right here, where the portal begins within the, within the website. that's where we should break, or like, you know, stop the styles basically. Okay, this is, yeah. You get the gist. But yeah, this is the point where we should stop the style. Not here, because if we do it here, then we'll have to do it here. We can't do it here because that's the whole website. We have to do it here, you know, on the portal level. That's why we have that. Right now it's called wrapper, but I'm meaning a portal, literally a portal, because that's going to be our portal, and we're gonna, you know, inject HTML into that portal, and that's going to be our widget, right? So we need to cut off the styles here at this point. Even if we don't show the dialog, if we successfully prevent, you know, outside styles from just, you know, sipping in, and then inside styles from sipping out, we, you know, we're done. That's the whole point. Okay, so I guess we need to, because we're not doing this as a web component as well, I guess we need to look at like our own CSS reset, right? Because styles can come from the outside, and if we have a button, we only want our style definitions to be applied on, but not the other things. So how do you counter the other things? Just by resetting it, right? So we need to apply like a layer of style reset that's going to take effect from this element, and then on, you know, on every child element that's inside. Basically, this is the leaf in the tree, or like the branch in the tree that we want to apply the reset on. So that's what we need to do. That's the thing. We can probably utilize cascade layers, because they're supported. We can define two layers. One layer for the CSS reset, and the other layer for our own definitions. But when we do that, we have to pay attention to, you know, the name here. So we shouldn't be doing the CSS reset globally, because that's the usual way CSS reset is applied on. We shouldn't do it globally. We should do it from, you know, everything should be prefixed with Replay Widget wrapper or portal. Let's change that to portal. That should be a portal. There we go. You see that? That's our portal. And I'm going to also rename this to portal. There we go. So let me go back now. Here. Refresh, and we should see Replay Widget portal. There we go. There's our portal. And inside we have the button. There we go. Cool. So anything that's within this div should just, you know, we should just do a style reset. So let's learn. Let's do some learning. CSS cascade layers reset. There we go. CSS layers for CSS resets. This is what I'm thinking about. We got to normalize, a gentle approach to fix differences between browsers while keeping the native style of HTML elements, such as the heading elements of H1, H2, and so on. CSS reset, in contrast, is a more aggressive method that often revokes the default style of the user agent style sheet of the browser. We should do a CSS reset in this case. Okay. We can install, because we're using rollup And we also use the post CSS plugin for rollup. We can probably install a post CSS plugin for normalizing and resetting it, but we should also look for where, like a targeted reset, so we can point to our diff instead, and instead of just doing everything on the global level. Yeah, layers to the rescue. That's what we're thinking. Cool. So we'll figure it out. Let's just go to the widget CSS and define the layers, right? So we're gonna do first the reset layer, and then the it's not Tailwind, widget, probably the widget, right? We'll do the widget first. That's gonna, yeah, this is just gonna be the widget. No third layer is needed, at least for now. Cool. So now we can do layer. Hold on. We can even break this out to multiple styles. So I'm going to create a folder instead. So styles. Let's move this into styles / widget, and we need to break this out into multiple files. Let's see. Let's do. I'm gonna create a new file for the portal.css. Okay, and we are going to do that into the widget layer. I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna get into the widget CSS, and I'm going to cut this, and let's put it here. There we go. Now I'm going to create a new file, and that one's going to be widget, but we already have the widget. Yeah. Let's create an index.css, like a barrel file. I don't think we can do the barrels here, but what we can do is grab the layer definition and just place them here, I guess. So here's the widget styles, and we only do the portal styles. And then here's the actual button. Again, I'm going to wrap this into the layer for the specificity. There we go. So reset comes first, and then widget comes second, right? Whatever we define into the reset will be overridden by the styles that come from the widget layer, without needing to do the exclamation mark important, because that's a nightmare. That's why we use CSS cascade layers. Cool. So we got this figured out. Also, the reset, and we'll define that. Let's do a reset.css. This layer is going to help us, get rid of any styles that could be seeping from the outside. That's the thing. So let's do post CSS reset plugin. Let's see how we can reset this. Reset global, and we don't want to do a global. Post CSS reset. That's how you install that. Process your CSS. Let's see how we can do CSS reset on specific elements. I was gonna say container. Oh, okay. See this reset style? We can do all reverts. I didn't know that. revert the CSS style of target element and its children. Cool. So this means that we have some custom. Let me zoom in for you. We have some custom styles here, right? We have the container. We have an H1 color is set to white and background is set to black. We have the paragraphs, which is, the font is being set to italic. But then within the reset style, and here's where it's being used, we do all revert. This should not be white text with a black background, and this should not be, this should not be italic. Okay. I really want to try this out because I think we can, this will pretty much solve our problem. Come on, let's figure it out. So I'm going to create a div here. Again, let me zoom in. There we go. We're not going to be using CSS. So let's set this to just the portal, right? And inside we have a button. I'm going to say widgets, for example, right? So let's do portal. And let's do position set to fixed. We'll do inset. We'll set that to 0. And then we have a button. We'll set the background to be red. Okay, here we go. So what if I do now? What if I do this? If I do portal and then a star for like everything within the portal, and if I do all reset, was it all reset? All revert. There we go. Our button isn't red anymore. See that? So for example, if the website's button from the outside decides to color their buttons red, and we don't want that, we can just do this. Basically, this is the this is the reset, that we're looking for, and everything inside of the portal will be, yeah, I like this. We don't even need a reset layer, honestly. Oh no, let's keep a reset layer. Yeah, so we can do the replay widget portal and then a star for every child, every descendant. We're gonna do all not unset, but we'll do revert. But hold on a second, is there an unset element or value as well? CSS all reverts. So the revert CSS keyword reverts the cascaded value of the property from its current value to the value the property would have had if no changes has been made by the current style origin to the current element. Okay, thus it reverts the property to its inherited value if it inherits from its parents, or the where were we? Or the different value established by the user agent style sheet. Okay. As the unset in many cases. The only difference is for properties that have values set by the browser or by a custom style sheets created by users. Revert will not affect rules applied to children of an element you reset. Okay. But will remove effects of a parent rule on a child. What? So if you have a color green for all sections and all revert on a specific section, the color of the section will be black. Okay. But if you have a rule to make all paragraphs red, then all paragraphs will still be red in all sections, even though, okay. Revert is just a value. It's still possible to override the revert using specificity. The revert key, I want to read about this. Although revert and unset are similar, they differ for some properties for some elements. We set custom font weight, but then try to revert and unset it inline in the HTML document. The revert keyword will revert the text to bold because that is the default value for headers in most browsers. The unset keyword will keep the text normal because as an inherited property, the font weight would then inherit its value from the body. Okay. This should have its own original font weight in color black, but this should have a normal but color black. Okay, because black is the default text color. Yeah. And the font and the color is set to blue. And the font weight is set to normal. Okay. Where is this defined though? Reverting all values is useful in a situation where you've made several style changes and then you want to revert to the browser default values. That's what we want, right? So in the above example, instead of reverting font weight and color separately, you could just revert all of them at once by applying the revert keyword on all. Yeah. So this section will have custom styles, and this should be reverted to the browser user defaults. That's what we're... Yeah. You can also revert on a parent. But no. Dark green, red. Okay. I feel like revert all is what we want, right? So all of the properties, just bring them back to the browser default values, regardless of what has been, you know, defined outside. Let's use that. Okay, yeah. We kind of fixed this, to be honest. Let's see, portal, reset widget. We need to bring all of these now. So instead of just a widget, we want to do styles first. And then we have the index, styles widget. Damn it. What else do we have? I think we have like 4 files. Ah, portal. We had the portal. Let's see. Resets. I'm gonna bring the reset at the top. Actually, no, the first we'll do the index, because that's where our layers are defined, and then we'll do the styles / reset. Okay, or should we call it revert, because that reverts all the properties. Revert all. Then we have the widget, then we have the portal. Cool. Okay, we bring all of these in. We define our layer architecture. It's pretty minimal. There's our reset. So everything within, you know, this portal, just, you know, all reverted. Then there's the portal, which of course should be portal, not wrapper. This is an interesting way to define that. It's always going to be at the top, but I'm going to say 8 because 9 will be the modal, the dialogue. So here's our portal. Reset, we already figured it out. And there's our widget. So the widget is the one that sits on the website, right? And that's, yeah, that's going to be... Oh, wait a minute. This is the portal. This is not the widget. The portal itself should be at the almost 10,000. Because inside we're just gonna put these two. Cool. Okay, so let's go back to the error playground. And okay, let's see. Portal, and then we have the widget. there's our widget, but it should be defined within the portal, right? Replay widget portal is here. Replay widget is here, but I don't see this being applied. What was the difference? This was like a direct descendant. The greater than child combinator, yeah. Lists items that are the children of the my things lists, yeah. But it's like a direct children, right? The adjacent is the plus. The descendant is just no, yeah. So in our case, the button is a direct descendant. So we can do the greater than. Okay, but I don't see our width, height, color layer is set to widgets. Replay widget portal is defined. Let me see if that's defined. Yes, it is. Right, so you see the layer here is set to widget. Hold on. Let me see. Do I have the Chrome dev. I think the Chrome dev also has the layers defined in a way. Or it's probably the same. Yeah, it is the same. Okay, I'm gonna close this. Okay, so here's the layers. First we have the reset, then we have the widgets. Cool. This lives into the widget. And it should live into the widget. But let's check out this. These are probably from the reset. So the back, see that the background color is not defined. And why is that? Hmm. Damn it. Yeah. It's set to transparent. So we have the all revert. No, we don't want to do that. Hmm. If we do an unset, nothing changes. I'm just gonna keep it as a revert. But the layers should have done something, right? This is harder than I thought it would be. For example, like the width and height, they're okay, but the background color and the cursor pointer, they're not being accepted from our style definition, but they're being accepted from this style right here, which is Tailwind in this case. But we can't know, if there's going to be Tailwind installed or something else. Maybe because we're introducing our own layers and not like the global ones. This is defined at the global level, as we can see, because it's not prefixed with, with anything. This, on the other hand, has a higher specificity, so it should be there, right? Wait a minute, we should, no, I think I got it. So we should not have a widget. We shouldn't have a widget. I think that's the problem. The layer itself is the problem, because everything that's not in a layer is going to be set to the actual, as like the layer with the most specificity. So there we go. You see that when I got these out of the layer, they just defaulted to be like the topmost layer, right? Okay. If I do this, then it's going to be okay. But let's see the inheritance. You see that text transform none. That's inherited from, let's go back and see. Here, for example, you see that? If I click this here, we can see that it comes from like the tailwind reset. And that's exactly not what we want, right? We shouldn't let other style definitions put our, put their own style definitions within our widget, so that our widget can inherit them. We should, basically, the widget shouldn't inherit anything. And I believe that's why we did the reset one, but then the reset, oh damn, okay, yeah. Maybe the layers are actually doing us more harm than good in this case. Yeah, I think they are, because then the outside stuff, worst case scenario is outside stuff is defined not in a CSS layer architecture, and usually that's the case, right? Everything's in like one layer. That's like the worst case scenario. If there are layers, cool, because our definitions are going to be at the top. Yeah, so I'm going to remove this, and you see that border now? It wasn't there, just so you know. And that's, I think that would be the revert all. As you can see, like most of the stuff now, this is probably from a browser. No, it's still Tailwind. How's that possible? So here we go. Yeah, this takes place now, and that's why we saw the border. I believe that Tailwind has a border definition for the buttons, and I don't see it being accepted now. This is from the user agent style sheets, and the border should be defined here. Okay, where does this come from? Yeah, it's Tailwind again. I don't know. That's what we want. Let's toggle this. Yeah, you see that? So if we don't have the revert put in place, Still going to be the same, I guess. That's the tailwind base. If I put the revert in and check for the style, it's tailwind base again. Is this actually tailwind? Looks like it is. So the border style set to solid. The bottom is set to inset. What is going on? Yeah, so we have like two definitions. Again, this is tailwind. I mean, the reset, maybe the reset is not specific enough. Maybe the specificity, or no, I don't think that's the case. Because like if we check out the border in this case, for example, I don't know, these things, the outset, and we click on this style, border style solid, where it says, this comes from the tailwind base, right? And this is the style that's being applied. And check this out. This doesn't have like a high specificity, because it's just like everything. I would argue that our revert is, more, has like a higher specificity, and that's why it's working. But why is it not working in this case? Why is our button inheriting this style definition? It shouldn't be, that's outside styles seeping in. It's crazy. All right, what if we go back to the doc site? Let's go to the pages, index. No, actually, let's go to the components and then, wait, where is the, yeah, there we go, layouts. Okay, so I'm going to create a style here that's going to try to change some of the styles. There's a style, and I'm going to say is global. I'm gonna do a button. This was a button. Yeah, it was a button. Okay, let's set this to Rubik, but it actually doesn't. We don't have any texts. What do we do? Background color. Let's set this to blue. And then, of course, yeah, it's not going to be accepted because, of course, the specificity, right? This is just a button. This is specifically this button, so that's why this takes place over this one. But what if we even do a replay widgets? An idea of replay widgets. Again, this takes place. That's weird. I mean, technically, I would still say that we have styles seeping in because we can see that, the border is here. And I wouldn't worry a lot, but for the styles, bleeding out, because we're not going to be, we're not going to be producing, or like the CSS that we're going to write, it's not going to be, in a way that it defines a global style, basically. Yeah. Okay, so This isn't this like the default button? I mean, with the border and everything. I don't know why the definition came from the Tailwind CSS file. That was weird. But this looks like it looks like the default one to me. All right, so you know what? Let's just keep it, you know. Just keep it. So this reset basically does, it gets any of the elements that are under, like a direct or indirect descendant of the portal, and it just reverts everything. And then we define our own things using a higher specificity selectors, so that, you know, so that we don't even, so that we don't bleed out styles. So for example, if I just did, you know, like let me see, delete until this, if I just did a button like this could bleed out. Let's see. Well, yeah, of course. Now because we have the reset to be everything inside of the replay widget, and I did this as a button, then, you know, the thing that our own styles aren't defined. So we have to use, you know, higher specificity selectors here. Otherwise, even our own styles won't be applied. Okay, I think this is a solution, right? Okay, let's try something else. Let's try something else. There's a portal, there's our widget. When we click on it, we say show modal, append, child, append. We should take this probably outside of this file, because this is the replay widget. Here's the setup. Which also creates all of the stuff and adds, you know, adds them to the widget. For example, let's create the dialog. It's not going to be a div, it's going to be a dialog. That's a thing, right? HTML5 dialog. Yeah, dialog box that or other interactive components such as dismissible art inspector or sub window. That's what we want. And it's good to use a dialog instead of a div because of accessibility. So when we toggle the open button you see here, it's going to open the dialog, and we can style that later. There we go. Yeah. So we can create this, right? We can do dialog.id replay widget dialog. And check this out. We can do body.append child dialog like this. But when we click on the button, we should say not show, I don't know, the dialog that show, oh, there we go, show modal. We can actually do that. Let's see. We do need to define the inner HTML though. So I'm going to define the content. All right, there we go. Close button as well. Let's see if, you know, there we go. So Copilot kind of helped us. Close content. I think this is enough. So we add all of this to the dialog, and then we show it only when we click the button. Let's see if that works. I can see any dialogues when I click on this. There's our dialog. You see that? Close. But check this out. The button close, it has the Rubik font. It should not have the Rubik font because we reset everything, right? Oh, wait a minute. The portal. No. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's not a big deal. So instead of the, yeah, see that? we're adding the widget to the portal, but the dialog to the body. The portal contains the reset. We should add the widget, the dialog to the portal. Okay, let's try that again. And when we do that, I think it should be here at the center. Maybe I'm wrong. No, it's actually at the top. But we can see that, you know, we have the button. It's the default dialog styles. And like, check out the close button. You know, it's the default browser one. So when we click on that, can we click on that? We actually can't click on that. Replay widget portal. There's our widget and there's our dialog. It's set to open. Pointer events all, cursor pointer. Is that what we want to do? Replay widget portal. This is the direct descendant, so replay widget dialog. And I'm actually going to add this to like all of the children within the dialog. No, it's actually not working. I'm not sure if that's like a CSS. It is like, check it out. You see, when I try to, okay, so the dialog element probably has some browser defaults. What if we did this then? Still no luck, because of course the position is set to static. I'm going to set the position to, I'm just gonna do relative, because it's within a fixed div. Again, no luck. Okay, that's weird. I have a typo. Yo, where? Oh, damn it. Good one. Good one. Replay widget portal, replay widget dialog. Okay. I'm going to just do this. And on everything. Do I need to even do that on everything? Yeah, there we go. We can see the interactions now. Okay, we're in. We're in. So we do need to do the pointer events all and the cursor pointer to everything within the portal, but not to the portal itself. So, you know, let's actually add a rule, because that's yeah, thanks. Replay. Yeah, here's the portal. And check this out. Pointer event set to none. But on the replay widget portal and then everything inside of that, the pointer event is going to be set to, was that all? And the cursor is, well, not the cursor, but pointer events. I'm going to revert them. And the cursor, I'm going to revert these two things, right? Because the portal itself is set to pointer events none. And we do that because if we don't do that, then we won't be able to interact with the website, because like the whole portal is going to just, you know, lay on top of the whole website, so we can't click on the button because we'll be clicking the portal instead. So that's why we set this to none, but everything inside of it, we should just revert to browser defaults, right? So the button, the cursor of the button is going to be how the browser would handle it, not us. Cool, that's a decent, that's even a reset, you know. All right, so I'm going to delete this and these two definitions as well, and we should still see everything and interact with everything, okay? And that's wrong, because we didn't actually achieve that. See that? Here's the portal. Pointer event set to none. These are set to revert, and I can see them here. What if I do unset? Nope. What about it will we shouldn't do inherit because it will inherit the none. Yeah. Auto. Damn it. Okay, so the pointer events kind of worked, but not the cursor. What if I do unset? That didn't work. Yeah. If I do a revert, that also didn't work. But we have a button. Like buttons should automatically have. For example, we have a link, right? We didn't set the cursor to. Okay. So the pointer events auto actually worked. Set this to auto, but we still can figure out the pointer. Right? Because if, for example, let me open up a new tab and open the website, the doc site itself. We are on the home page, so let's go pages, index, and where is this? So at the top we have the explore errors 4. Yeah, I'm gonna add a button here, just a button, and let's see. By default, well, of course, now we're in Tailwind land, so that probably the cursor is probably set to pointer. Yeah. Oh man, did we? Let's go to CodePen again and let's try to create a new pen. We're just gonna add a button. Hopefully CodePen doesn't have. No, actually, okay. So buttons do not have a cursor set to, by default. Okay, so we should be good, right? Check it out. Even this button right here, which is in a sandbox environment, doesn't have. Okay, that's interesting. So you see that I expected that all of the buttons by default will have like a pointer, but it turns out they don't actually. So I'm going to do this pointer events. I'm going to set this to all auto so that we can still interact with the website like behind or like, yeah, below the portal, but we can also interact with the stuff at the, on the portal itself. Cool. That's good. We fixed that. Let me just. Yeah, but we like manually need to do that. Okay, so can we do something like that? Something like I guess we should, yeah, cursor. We'll set that to pointer and we should be good, right? This is the replay widget. So there's this thing right here, but then there's also this thing right here. And that's probably better if we just show here's the close button. You see that? Replay widget dialog close. But it's still a button. So what if we did? There's the reset. There's the portal. Replay widget portal, and then anything that's a button inside should set the not the pointer events, but the cursor will set the pointer. How's that? And we can go to the widget now and close this. So now both buttons should have a pointer event and a cursor widget, and they do. Yeah. Okay. That does it, right? So when we click on the close, let's see, when we click on close, we should hide the modal, right? But then, where was it? The button itself had like it's a form That method is set to dialog, and there's a button that actually hides it. You see that? So when we click on this button, it's being closed. That's how we can also do, you know, the close button if we want to have a close button. Okay. We don't need JavaScript. That's the thing. But wouldn't it be nice if we were to define the HTML outside? I don't want to do document create element. Like I want to do document. Yeah, of course. I don't know. I don't want to do create elements. And I believe because we're using rollup, I think we can, you know, probably use a plugin that will allow us to define our HTML over here and like import it into the JS. Use it. I don't know. Let's see. I'm gonna do this one uses show modal, by the way. And I'm gonna do that, and then I'm going to move on with a bit of reading. So rollup, let's see, rollup, import HTML templates into rollup and compile it to concatenated strings. You just want to import the HTML files as a string. Then you can also try using the rollup plugin HTML. There's a plugin that could help us out. Let me zoom in. So rollup plugin for loading content of HTML files to use as a string variable in JavaScript code. We added like this, all of the HTML files. And do we have like any examples now? No examples. So these are going to be string variables. I believe we can do that. So we can grab, you know, the import, like get all the HTML out into an HTML file, grab it as a string, do a create element once, and because it's a string, we can do inner text equals to that string, and that's going to render the HTML. Let's try that. And then of course afterwards we'll just do this query selector, right? So we get the body, and then we'll query the body for the display widget portal, and then we'll have the portal after we add it, and then everything is gonna happen inside. You know, we can define the on-click stuff, we can define everything. Let's try that. I'm really interested to see if, you know, if that works. Okay, so I'm going to cd into the packages and then the widget. I'm gonna npm add -d for develop and then add the plugin. There we go. So we can import the HTML from the package and then do this into the rollup config. Rollup plugin HTML, plugins, post CSS, HTML, and then the include. We'll set it. Is that a string? It is a string. Yeah, basically this. Cool. So let's go back to the root and do npm dev so we can start it. Now, well, let's do, I don't know, template.html probably. I'm gonna save it. I'm not gonna do like the whole body and, you know, like head and doc type HTML on these things. I just wanna place these two here. So we're gonna start off with a div that's going to have the ID. You know what? Wait a minute. Hold on a second. You see this here? And by the way, check it out. We even have like a little dimmed background now since we use the show model instead of show. See that? That's what we're after. So here's the, this is dialog close. I'm gonna refresh. Here's the replay widget. I'm just going to copy the elements. Yeah, I'm just gonna be lazy and just paste it like here. There's the there's the thing we have. Okay, we got the replay widget portal. Here's our button for the widget. Here's the dialog. It says it has the content inside and the close button as well. We'll play around with the dialog and everything. So let's go back here. I'm not going to be doing all of these things. I do want to have the click. I'm not going to be doing these things. And the portal, we're probably going to do the portal. So what I want to do now is import the widget or the template, right? From template.html, that's where we defined it. Template should be a string now. Let me just save it. Yeah, template.html. Template should be a string, which means I can do body, not append child now. Okay. Definitely not append child. Let's see, JavaScript. Create element out of a string. Of course, the inner text. Create element string and then, but yeah. It's not just like one. It's like a whole series. Is there like instead of a append child, let's say body. Instead of inner text, append nodes. Because we're working with text now. What if we do this? So body.inner text is going to be the body.inner text, but we'll also add the template inside, right? So here's the body. We're gonna move this right here. Sorry, below that, because we have the if. And then we want to do widget. It's going to be body.query selector, and the widget was with the ID of replay widget, I think. Yeah. If there's no widget. Just return it. And then we have the dialog as well. I'm just going to copy this to, this whole block. Add it here. It's going to be the dialog. We should actually make like a utility function for this. But that instead of returning, it should throw. So if we return, it'll be null anyways. Okay, and now TypeScript. There we go. Okay, so now it's happy. So everything should pretty much work the same if what we've done is correct, and now it's not correct. Yeah, you see that it actually parses that as a text at the bottom. No, that's not what we want. So we don't want to change the inner text of the body. We should append the child, append the child. In that case, I'm gonna remove the portal from the outside and just keep the contents of the portal, but we're going to create element the portal Set that to be the inner text and then do the... I think we can do that. I think we can do that. Maybe the inner text is not working out. But let's do that. Portal, create element. It's gonna be the div portal, replay widget portal, and then we want to do append child portal. But before we do that, we want to set everything up and then append the portal to the actual page. So like and we can't even query these things. Actually, yeah. We can't add the event listeners if the pages, or like if the portal is not on the page. There we go. I'm just curious to see if the portal.inner HTML, by the way, works, and it technically should work. Yeah. All right. So this is our manually created element. Let me zoom in. So this is our manually created element. Here's our button. Here's our dialog. And inside we have the content, which is an empty div for now. And we also have the close button, right? When I press this button, we should see the dialog. Boom. There we go. Okay. I'm happy with this. You know, we're not putting everything in one single file. You know, we're not doing Peter levels here. I think the TypeScript is complaining now for the template.html, but I can do lsp restart. Sorry. Info. Compile TS server. lsp restart TS server, and we should have more issues. Yeah, we do have more issues. TypeScript is not configured for the .html, and I believe there should be like a DTS file for this plugin. If it doesn't exist, or like if it doesn't, if not, we can just do this HTML DTS. What was that? Declare module everything, everything.html. We need to do only that. Technically we should be good now. Yeah, no errors, because it kind of knows what it is. It has like a declaration. We're just lying. It's TypeScript, but yeah, we handle that. Okay, so now we need to actually content, export default content. There we go. Yeah, let's do. Yeah, we're missing that. Content is gonna be a string, and we can do export default content, so that when we import HTML files like this, there we go. So template is now a string. Now you see that, and of course it is a string because the plugin says that, you know, we can use HTML files as string variables. Cool. All right. Hey, this is, you know, starting to look decent. Let's do the form now, or the close. We might not need the form now, but I bet we're gonna need it, you know, in future. Okay, this was a good plugin. It did what we wanted to do. Let's check out the form again. Form method is set to dialog. So when we go here, open the dialog, close the dialog. There we go. There's our functionality. And again, we're not using, you know, JavaScript to open and close. I mean, we're using to open the method, yeah. But this is, I like this. You know, I like this way of adding functionality. It's native. It's just native web, right? Yeah, we have to show it, unfortunately, using JavaScript, but that's all right. There's our modal, and we can start, you know, doing this. Now check this out. You see, when I press on this button and the modal shows up, you see this top layer right here. That's the reason why we're using the dialog instead of just an ordinary div, right? Because now the browser knows that this is a dialog and it handles it as a dialog. It also adds the backdrop, you know, we want that. We want the browser to understand, you know, like this is a dialog, so handle it as a dialog, right? If we were just to do a div with, I don't know, a div with the Z index set to like 9,999, what if there's another element? And, you know, we don't want to do that. If like we have the dialog functionality, we should use it, you know. There we go. Cool. I like this. I like this. Yeah, browser native. That's the way to go. Cool. So we got the dialog all worked out. That's cool. We got the styles. That's cool as well. Here's the dialog. We can do, I don't know, what if we do border radius 20 pixels? See that? We can style this dialog in any way that we like. And because we're not using the web component, or like the shadow DOM, we can also, you know, reuse some of the things, but we should not be doing that. No, because yeah, this is where our, you know, widget happens. We should be doing this instead. So here's the portal, right? We should define our own, like, I don't know, colors, etc. Hi Sid, how's it going? We should define our own widget, our own CSS variables here. That's what we should do. And then we can like reuse, like this is going to be the root of the, check this out. We can do text color and set some arbitrary value, like, I don't know, ABC123. I don't know what kind of color that is, but it's a valid color, right? So let's go back now. Let's go to the widget and set the text to the color of our text color variable, right? So if we go back to the HTML, here's our button, and we do open modal. All right, you see that? See how it's green? Because we used text color variable, which is defined on the portal itself, but not outside of it, right? Because if I open a new tab, go to the docs site /source/pages/index, and this is the website, right? This is going to be every website that, you know, this widget is going to be installed on. And do explore errors for, let's do a style, right? We can do color is set to text color right here. It's not gonna happen. I mean, the style is applied probably. Where was explore errors for? Yeah, you see that? but the variable is grayed out because it doesn't exist within this context right here. It only exists inside of the Replay Widget portal because that's where we define it. Okay, so this is a good mechanism for us to roll out our own, you know, styles architecture using CSS variables, which can also, you know, be check this out. I really like the, yeah, I'm nerding out, but this is what I want to show you. For example, max width, I'm gonna set this to 640, right? And then I'm gonna enter inside the Replay Widget portal, right? And then I'm gonna change the text color to, what should we do? The background is red, so we can do red. Let's do purple. Okay. So check this out. We have it green now, but when I go past the 640, it's gonna turn purple. Yeah. You see that? So we can basically create our own variables and just change the variables, but set, you know, set the style to be the variable, but the change the value of the variables based on the responsiveness. That's an interesting approach. In terms of JS, I think for like adding, you know, and setting up the widget, I think we're all good. Right? We have to use this. And this is the only, for now, this is the only event listener. For example, when we bring in the, you know, the Sentry integration, when we define what happens when we click the button, that's going to be another event listener, right? But this looks good for now. I mean, it sets, you know, it sets up correctly. It's mindful. It doesn't leak out styles because that's like not good. Hey, Suyat, in just 10 minutes, I feel like I learned a lot. You're amazing. Thanks. Yeah. That's the point, you know, like that's why I'm here. We should teach each other stuff. There's a record. Yeah. Close. Yeah. This is looking really good and also really promising, you know. I think it's like a really good foundation for a framework agnostic component, right? We addressed a lot of the issues. I think it's like really humane component. It doesn't leak out styles. It uses the browser defaults, like semantically, it's semantically correct, right? We're not using a div. We don't do a div soup. We're using a dialog because of course it is a dialog, so that the browser knows that we're displaying the dialog, you know. So those are important things. See the focus is on. See the focus? Let me zoom in. I'm hitting tab on my keyboard. The focus is on the button, and now the focus is probably outside. So if I press enter, this should close. Oh no, it actually doesn't close. I don't know where the focus is though. But as you can see, it only toggles here or not here, like on the close button itself or not. And we have elements outside, right? We have the navigation, we have the GitHub link over here, contribute, we have the React card right here, which is clickable, but it's not, you know, it's not focusing on them. That's really important, because if we do this, you see, here we are. Here's the GitHub, here's the contribute, here's the focus right here. You see that? All of these things are, you know, jacking the focus, but there's no hijacking anymore because the browser knows that this is a dialog, so it constrains the focus only here. that's why I mentioned like we should, you know, it's really important to know what the browser offers you as tools, as opposed to, because we can easily just do, you know, like set this as a div and set it as like a, this was, you know, fixed again, create another div for the background, you know, the backdrop and all these things. That is not smart. I mean, we can achieve the looks, but like why would you do that, you know? Like we can style this again, but we won't have the top layer right here. And we're gonna have issues with the focus, because if it's part of the, if it's not part of the top layer, when we go through the focus, it's going to be selecting all these items at the, you know, in the background, and that's not what we want. You know, we're right now we're in dialogue, and everything we do must be in the dialogue and constraints to the dialogue. If we want to close it, then we can close it. So yeah, that's, I like that, you know, I like that the browser actually allows us to do that. And with the form and the form dialog, man, this is really cool. We have the template, and we're importing the template as a string. It's just amazing, right? And we kind of, yeah. Does the dialog close when you click outside? It doesn't. There we go. I'm clicking outside, but it doesn't. I don't know if there's like a, let's see. Show the dialog. This one doesn't close as well. Probably not, you know? There's a close event, there's a cancel event, HTML forms guide. There's a backdrop pseudo element. You see that? Is a box the size of the viewport, which is rendered. So yeah, this is how we can style it, you know? Because it's a pseudo element. Let's go to the styles. Portal. Well, not portal, right? We're gonna have a different file for that. But a replay widget portal, replay widget dialog, and then scope backdrop. Yeah. Backdrop. And we can do background color is, I don't know, 0.9. So this is going to be like really, really dark now. Yeah, you see that? You can still see some stuff behind it, but yeah, that's how we can, that's how we can style our backdrop now. So why do we need to create a div for that? You know, the browser will actually provide that for us. I saw something about a polyfill, so I'm interested to see in terms of browser compatibility. Of course, we're not even talking about that. You see that? It's just compatible everywhere. So full support, yeah. Why do we need a polyfill though? What is the dialog polyfill? I don't think we need the polyfill. It can work when used inside the shadow DOM, but it's not recommended. Okay. Yeah. We don't need a polyfill. I mean, it's supported. Okay. There are some interesting stuff about, you know, if you have forms inside of the dialogue and like what happens, you know, with the submit and stuff. But we'll read about that later. Right now, I think we're good. Yeah. Okay, so you know, let's wrap it up for now, because we basically achieved what we wanted to achieve, right? We don't have styles sipping in, we don't have styles bleeding out. We have a nice dialogue. We even did some extras, like we did like multiple CSS stuff. What if I were to, hold on a second. What if I were to do this instead? What if I just link, you know, the style sheet here? I mean, wouldn't that be great? But how do we, styles, reset? Let's do the reset. Go here. Yeah, it's not going to be imported. Of course, yeah, you see that? That's not, yeah, that style is not being served statically, so that's why it's not going to work. Here in the HTML land, we need to, you know, provide the actual URL. It's not gonna be, you know, because parcel is going to post CSS and parcel. It's gonna get the style. Sorry, rollup, not parcel. It's gonna compile all the styles, minify, do all the crazy things that, you know, it wants to do, and then it's gonna add them somewhere here. Yeah, you see that? So it's automatically injected into the head. So we don't need to do that. But if we were to add that here in the HTML land, yeah, we would have to serve that statically, the CSS file, but we can't do that from within the widget, right? Because for example, Astro does static serving in a different way. React does static serving in a different way. Vue.js serves statically in a different way. You know, that's not ours to, that's not our thing. So that's why we have to keep it. We have to keep it here. Just import it as a string so that rollup can grab the contents and inject it into the heads. Cool. All right. Yo, well, I think we're done for today. This was a really fun thing. I thought that, you know, we were going to do a lot more stuff in terms of the reset. Maybe we haven't even reset the styles properly. I think and I hope that, you know, we apply the reset correctly, or the revert. Sorry, we're not resetting, we're reverting all the CSS properties, and then we're doing some other stuff. But yeah, I'm happy how things turned out to be, and yeah, pretty cool. So I'm gonna see you all next Wednesday, because that's going to be the next stream for the widget. And yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in, and take care, right? Be good.